how much is the series following the comics?
I think it's faithful to the idea of the people, but they were very clever in that the creative team decided to set it before the comic started, because the comic, you just explodes from page one, and you are introduced to these people, and it's the whirlwind, and you can do that in a comic, and but I think they cleverly with this have established all the people that need to be established. We need to know who these people are, we need to know a bit about their background, and we need to know, so it's cleverly, I suppose, starts the end of the first 10 starts where the comic begins, and that's what's exciting. So it's really embedded in some reality of a space where they all come from, and I think that's but faithful to the characters and to the look of the characters and to who they are. That's been very carefully navigated, and I think that they have continually had conversations with the creator of the comic, Garth, to make sure he's happy with the choices that have been made.
It's a question of pacing, and Sam Catlin put it best when he talked about how the comic hits the ground running and accelerates. The pacing of a TV show is so different. The best example is that in the comic, Jesse gets his power, the instruction manual that goes with it, and the mission that he assigns himself almost overnight. In the show, it's far more grounded. We get to see him in the little town that in the comic was immolated inside 12 pages or whatever it was. We get to see the relationships he has there. We get to see him at first not even understand what he's got or what he should do with it. I think that allows the story to breathe in a way that a direct adaptation wouldn't. I know from having seen at least one screenplay several years ago that if you do a direct adaptation, you immediately overload the story. There's a new grotesque character or over-the-top scene or bloodbath every other page. And you read this and you imagine watching it, and it's simply exhausting.
At this stage, it's about setting up characters, and so the audience who aren't aware of the comic can invest into these roles, you know what I mean? And I think we're going to do it very gradually and try and, you know, if we can get another couple series out of it, if you get a fucking series at all out of it, you know, that's when I think we'd start seeing a little bit more of Cass. You just don't want to show everything straight away.
Yeah, no, Garth has been great. He's been really involved and really supportive and encouraging, and he hasn't been one of those creators that's like said, well, no, this is the way it is and it's got to be that way. He's been very collaborative and understanding that we needed to start in a different way, and that a comic book is not always the same thing as a TV show. And to him, I think what was important is that we capture the spirit of Preacher with the characters and the tone and all of that. And hopefully we were successful at that. I think he sensed pretty early on that the three of us, Seth and Evan and myself, were really, loved his comic, and we wanted to do Preacher. We didn't want to do we weren't just using it as a brand to sort of riff off of, that we really wanted to do his world. And I think once he realized that, I think he was excited.
Listen, for whatever we lack panel to panel, I can guarantee that the tone and essence of the comics and the characters are very much intact. We had about a 6-month block, I think it was, between shooting the pilot and coming back to shoot the other 9 episodes. During that time, I was really able to really dig in and actually digest the comics. And having come back and read it, it's in the voice of the characters and in the tone of the show, and true fans of the comic will, I think, notice that right out of the gate.